What does English pride mean to you? Why are you proud to be English? Now, ordinarily, let me qualify this for a second. Ordinarily, we'd ask that question and extend it to being British, perhaps, Scottish, Welsh, Irish. But given the relevance of England reaching the finals of the Euros, it has a kind of specific resonance right now. And there's many reasons why I want to put this question out there this afternoon. I want to hear voices from all over the UK on this, by the way. But specifically, why do you feel proud to be English? And it certainly does often take. Sometimes there's just a moment or an event that brings people together. It could be political or cultural, that kind of reignites a sense of pride. Do you remember 1997, before Blair went mad? Regardless of whether you voted for Tony Blair, there was that moment, wasn't there? The Tories were dry and grey and dead, and half the front bench were in jail. And then suddenly this new whippersnapper Blair came on the scene. Blur were pumping out the tunes. Oasis were rivaling everything they did. It was Britpop, it was feel-good, it was mid-90s, crest of a wave. Employment everything looked fantastic. In 1990s, there was that sense. There was a kind of pride, a new sense of belonging to something. At other times, it takes a big sporting event. We've had it so rarely in big sporting events. And football, of course, being the national game, is the one that is likely to do it. And I think it doesn't overstate things to suggest that whilst not quite there, one more match to go, it's a big one, the Italians won't be it. We know all of that. But after last night and the build-up and everything that's kind of gone with it, a sort of a sense of English pride. And it's tricky. Being proud to be English, as distinct from being proud to be British, is actually quite a tricky one. A mate of mine who's Irish says to me, and has said to me many times, that she actually feels sorry for the English, because when we wave our little old flags, there's always somebody pointing the finger suggesting it means something else, that there's something a little dark and grim and nefarious about being an English supporter, that something that the Scots don't get, the Welsh don't get, and the Irish don't get. You start with your St George malarkey and suddenly people are suggesting you're one step away from the British National Party. And that's been an issue, hasn't it, for a while. And she recognised that and said, I do genuinely feel whenever there's a sporting event, you get, and I'm going to come to some of the comments that I've seen online, reference this very point in a couple of moments. But if I throw the question to you, what does English pride mean to you? What do you point to when you think of that? I know what kind of collates it, and it could be, as I said, an event, and the match last night would be one such example. It kind of brings it all together. You think, do you know what? I feel really quite proud of this place. I feel proud of these lads playing football. I think the manager is magnificent. I think we're doing something, a style and a level of football we haven't seen for a long time. And it just kind of reinvigorates your mind into other areas about the place we live in and where we're at, and new beginnings, and a sense of a collective sense of singing from the same hymn sheet. And when I think of this country and I think of our history, and I look around the world, and I've been to a fair few other places, from Australia to the States, most parts of Europe, South Africa, all those kind of places. And I look at this place and I think, do you know what? On balance, when I look at everything, I look at our legal system, I look at our economic system, I look at our system of government, I look at our cultural contributions, whether that's music or sport, whatever it happens to be. And I put the whole thing together, and there are genuinely very few places around that I think could, on balance, rival any of that. I think we've got it better than most places. So the sense of pride, I think, for this place called England, and I'll just qualify that. Ordinarily, I would just throw this out to the British question, and I'm happy to have those voices from other parts of the UK too. But against the backdrop of what happened last night, you understand why I'm just zoning it a little onto the English point, because it is a little trickier than being a Scottish patriot. I mean, just think of the names of political parties. You can be a Scottish nationalist. When you call yourself an English nationalist, everything about that has so many different variables and thoughts go through. So an English nationalist sounds a little bit dodgy. There was once German nationalism. We know what they were all about. So you get that kind of different sense. What does it mean to you to be English? Where is that sense of pride? I would look at it historically as well. I mean, we're living in an era right now where you're meant to go around the place beating yourself up for stuff that happened 10,000 years ago that had nothing to do with you, your parents, their parents, their parents, their parents, their parents, their parents, or their parents. But somehow self-flagellate away. Get on your knee and say sorry for past crimes that had nothing to do with you or anyone in your possible traceable family tree. That's sort of the place we're at right now, yeah? If you look back at most of our history, contributions, whether it's innovation, whether it's medicine, whether it's the legal system that we talk of, and of course bits and pieces are cobbled together from other systems around the world. On balance, look at that. Look at the history of this place. Look at our contributions. Look at the brilliance. And now we have this sporting moment. So for you personally, what is it, or what does English pride mean to you? So I'm watching the football, and it was a great night. There was a cracking result. Yes, we can debate, VAR and all the rest. Don't debate that. We wouldn't be debating that in the same way if it was, if you were watching, if that happened in the France-Switzerland match or any of the others. We just go, they won. Yeah, there was a penalty and bounced off, rebound, went back in. Bit of a VAR moment. Was it not? Own goal. We just take it. But I think we kind of so used to not being in this position that we're almost questioning, to a certain degree, our own success on this. England won, and England are now in the final. And I loved it. I mean, I had that moment, that wobble moment. Watching a penalty is never good for me. It's never good for the heart rate. It's like the butterflies going absolutely nuts. It's just, please don't put me through this. Thank goodness it never went to a penalty shootout at the end. But a win is a win. So there it is, through to the final. And then I was looking online at just some of the comments, which kind of took me down the proverbial rabbit hole of looking for similar comments. So have a listen to some of these. This is on the back of England winning a football match. So this is what 60,000 racists look like. Anyone who paints their face in a St. George's flag should probably be arrested before they enter the ground. Okay. Here's another. Nobody told me there was a Klan convention going on in Wembley last night. How did I miss this news? It's nice. Next one. Why are we surprised when English fans boo the taking of the knee? Why would we expect anything less from those knuckle draggers? Great. When I see Irish or Scottish fans celebrate, I always feel positive and fun, a sense of happiness. When I see English fans chant and roar, it's more like a National Front meeting. And the one that really got me was this. Seeing English fans cheer for the likes of Saka and Sterling, I want to laugh. Don't these players realise these fans would hate them in any other place? Why does English pride somehow invite that kind of response? And I'm aware I'm talking about minor voices on social media, but they are loud, and for every one of those comments I just read out, there were hundreds of people responding and piling in, and other people across the various forums where people like to opine in this respect. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with English pride. I said it was tricky, didn't I? And that's the reason it's tricky. I don't think you would have those kind of comments on the back of a Scottish football match or a Welsh football match or an Irish football match. And I can't really think of anywhere around the world where you might get the same thing. Am I wrong there? 0344 499 1000. So what does English pride mean to you? What does English pride, when you think of it? Is it our history? Is it what's happening now? Is it our shared sense of values? Is it our sporting... Is it a collective of many other things? 0344 499 1000. So let's unapologetically look at the English question on this. So fine to hear voices from elsewhere, but against the backdrop of a monumental success in the Euros, let's ask it outright. What does English pride mean to you? This is Dom, down in London. You were there last night. Dom, how you doing?
Yeah, I mean, just what a night. I just don't really want this tournament to end it. We've only one more game left. I mean, I've been to all the games at Wembley, and it's just been great. Just because, obviously what it's been like for the last sort of 18 months, 2 years. and everyone just seemed to coming together. I mean, I follow England everywhere, and I think this is the greatest thing about England when it comes to football is, you know, when people go in sort of club football week in, week out, there, you know, you'll have many arguments like who should be playing who should be playing where, but, you know, it's people from all over the country uniting together just for the love of the football team. You know, I've got mates who are from Leeds, mates from Sunderland, mates who are Hereford fans, and everyone sort of just come together, and I think this tournament has been just such a positive thing for the country, and I think it's just made everyone sort of proud to be English and proud to be British.
You're absolutely right. And also, I think there's been such great football in other games as well, hasn't there? I mean, matches that ordinarily you might not even watch. You've just thought, wow, this has just been incredible. So the tournament, the whole tournament, and us being the hosts in this way, more or less, has just kind of, I mean, that in itself is a good thing, to actually just have this tournament going, and then to have England going this far and possibly taking the big prize on Sunday is just it's a massive icing on the cake after 15 months of hell, right?
Yeah, it's just been amazing, because I think when people were looking at this tournament, they're sort of looking at it could go two ways. It could go the way that we've seen this tournament, you know, great games. You know, I think not just England, but just countries in general uniting once again, and
correct,
you know, forgetting any political differences that people may have or anything that was going on, and everyone's sort of just coming together. You know, I spoke to some Denmark fans after the game, and they were just so happy they've made it this far in a tournament. And it's not like they were being sore losers and they were sad. They were just happy on what a day it's been. And I think, there was worries this tournament with the amount of football there's been since Project Restart, that it could sort of be sort of a damp squib because all the players be so knackered. But I think this is actually what this has been the best sporting event. Obviously, it's definitely since the lockdown, and I think it is just what, not just the country, but I think it's just what Europe has needed. It's brought everything back, and
absolutely right.
It's just great to see.
Just describe, Dom, what it felt like to. I don't know about you, but a penalty. I mean, you might as well take me down into a dark cellar and pull my toenails out as to watch a penalty shootout. And we never got to that stage, but of course there was a penalty. When you were standing there, describe that moment. Because obviously on TV, you get the close-up of Schmeichel, you get the close-up of Kane, you get the drama of the crowd, you see the faces, the ref's about to blow that whistle, the cameras are ready. And it is such a horrendous moment in many respects to endure. What did it feel like being there?
I think it was probably worse. I mean, because obviously it was the direct opposite side of the ground where I was, and I was where I was fairly near to the stairwell. I was just sat in the stairwell with like my hand on my head, just, can we just score this? Can we just score this? And because I know obviously we've only been saved and he tapped in, but I didn't really.
Sorry, I just watched it again.
I didn't really process that till sort of after the goal, because it was sort of just all one sort of moment. Did you not? Because it would be very easy. You only had to blink to realise that. I did realise it was missed, but obviously we were celebrating so soon after. It sort of just all blended into.
It was 4 seconons, and it was in, wasn't it? So
one moment of euphoria, and I feel like it. I felt it anyway, that it was a game. We just waiting for us to score. Really, I didn't see Denmark coming back into the game in that respect. I think it was just, hopefully we could just get a goal in extra time and it wouldn't go all the way to penalty shootout. But even just the scenes at full time with the entire ground singing Sweet Caroline with the players, it was just absolutely sensational. I was in the upper tier, and usually for a regular England qualifying game, the upper tier would just be drab with no atmosphere. But I mean, everywhere in the ground yesterday was just bouncing. The whole, even just everyone walking the ground, everyone was celebrating with each other. I've lost count between this and the Germany game, how many different people I've hugged. It's just, it's like you probably won't see him ever again. But it was just, everyone just, the absolute euphoria, and I think it is the celebrating together, which has been the best thing. Yes, you're with your friends and everything, but it's just the random people you're celebrating with.
Absolutely. And it was, there were a couple of comments on the booing of the Danish national anthem, which was, I don't know why anybody needed to do that, to be honest, Dom, but most people I don't think did. Doesn't take many to make a lot of noise, of course, but it was, you talked about the camaraderie between Danish fans and previously German fans as well, so it was all... There was a sense of belonging regardless of who you were.
Yeah, I think so. And I think this is the first time we've obviously, I know Scotland brought obviously a lot down, but that was only for 22,000 capacity. It felt good to have a 60,000 capacity then with like 8,000 Danish fans. I think if there was only like 1,000, it just helped that they were making an atmosphere on their end as well. It wasn't just, it didn't feel like just like, a home England and then a sort of small sort of section like it was in the Germany game. I think the 8,000 Denmark fans really helped yesterday. And yeah,
it was great because you could distinguish obviously through colour alone, where those guys were, and I thought that was fabulous. I just thought it all looked great. I envy you that you were there, Dom. Thank you, and that reinvigorating of pride that was injected into so many people last night. Let's go to Leigh, who's down in London. Leigh, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you
Good.
doing?
I'm all right, thanks. Yeah, were you there? Were you at a pub? Where were you?
So I was at a pub yesterday, watching with two of my friends.
Yep.
And it was just absolutely incredible. It was, for me personally, I'm an Arsenal fan, so it's been an absolutely dire season.
Yeah.
So it was just so nice, as the guy before said, like coming together. Like when the first goal went in, obviously there was the collective groan across the room. But then when the own goal went in, and then the penalty was just mad. I was hiding under a table.
Yeah.
Everyone else had their heads in their hands and everything. And then when he first of all, kind of missed it with the groan once again, but then the euphoria, drinks went flying.
Drinks went
flying. And it's funny because I was in a pub that they were making pizzas and they had like a wood fire oven. And then loads of the pizzas got burnt. And then
because they left them in there to watch the...
They left them in there to watch the screen, to watch the football. And then,
I love that.
It was incredible.
That. What are you thinking about Sunday then? Because, I mean, after last night, I mean, whether people were watching it, I was at home. A couple of mates were in the pub. I just couldn't make it work time-wise for the pub. As our previous caller, Dom said he was there. And we were all excited, and it was all fabulous. But then on Sunday, this whole thing gets ramped up even more. Does it go from excitement to just absolute nerves? Where are you likely to be? Back at the same pub?
So no, one of my friends is hosting Euros final party.
Fantastic.
So there's going to be a load of us watching it, and I'm not going to lie, I'm very, very nervous.
Yeah.
Because we're so close.
Are you quite animated with when we score at things like that? Because
absolutely.
I would literally hug a scabby horse if there was one standing next to me.
Absolutely, we were screaming, jumping. It's just so exciting. Also the previous caller said, the time that we've had, it's just so exciting.
Do you think it does? I mean, the wider question that we were throwing out here was about that kind of sense of pride in your country. Do you think it does? Do you think it injects that an event like this does kind of the air bubble effect? It helps elsewhere.
100%, and especially since football is probably one of the biggest sports in Britain, the UK, it definitely has helped inject that, and the fact that we are hosting at Wembley, some of the games and everything, and the final, it definitely has helped. I mean, as I said, was in the pub, but then I've watched on YouTube like the clips of like Trafalgar Square, Box Park, just everywhere, just people just being so happy. Yeah. And just celebrating, hugging each other.
It does that. It's got that feel. Do you remember the 2012 Olympics? And that whole period where all the imagery, that kind of, it was sort of like a pink purpley colour, wasn't it? The logo, it was everywhere.
Yes, it was.
And for that entire time, there was a really good, and we did really well as well, didn't we? The Great Britain did incredibly well on the medal table.
Absolutely.
And, we were all watching sports we've never watched before, 9:30 in the morning watching archery on the telly. Man, why am I doing this? But it's brilliant. I'm loving it. And there we were. And it had that kind of same sense, and I think this tournament has done that as well, and obviously England getting as far as we have has really done it. Sunday has to happen. Give us a prediction, Leigh, before we say goodbye.
Okay, 3-1 to England.
Oh, I like it. Hug that horse. Have a great Sunday, Leigh.